Always important in any sort of Twisted Fate situation, but we'll have to see if that's what's going to work out here. Definitely tenuous there, but Rookie, it's the second time he's gone to Cassiopeia in the series. Clearly favors the champion.
I mean, Sejuani, usually you'd expect Gragas to have higher gank pressure than a Sejuani. Gragas has actually been likened to Lee Sin from patches behind. Of course, Lee Sin on this patch 5.6, despite having the missing health damage, just doesn't necessarily synergize as well with Cinderhawk. Still wants to go the warrior route, and there are just better picks in the jungle that synergize better with Cinderhawk. That's just so damn powerful at this present point. So Gragas, he has the early trade damage, can just pop that Drunken Rage and do similar damage trades early. Then, of course, just synergizes so well with cooldown reduction for the utility in his kit. It's not the AP burst Gragas anymore. It's all about the disengage. That if Dandy gets strong enough, can actually get on top of this mid lane, can actually open up a safer laning phase for Twisted Fate. Because remember, we've seen Twisted Fate blind picked into Arya, and that go just fine in previous Vici games. It's all on Rookie to really try and boss around her tongue, because if Twisted Fate gets going, the rotational play from Vici, that's their strong suit.
I mean, it might just be about the mid lane jungle duos for both sides. That's almost always the case with IG, but I feel like if Fatong is on Twisted Fate especially, he needs to make sure he gets things going, and what better way to do that than to try and bring in your jungler to gank him? So Dandy almost naturally has to be drawn to defend his mid laner as well.
And we've seen Dandy previously pull off impressive ganks at level 4, level 5, just with that Arctic Assault, blow flashes. Rookie has the cleanse, so they don't necessarily have the CC lock between the gold card and the Glacial Prison. They'll have to be on point with that cooldown, though. Again, I expect a lot of pressure around mid. It's a full dive comp coming out from Vici, expecting Hatong to go very deep into the backline to deal with the Kog'Maw and the Juggernaut comp that's been assembled. Na's going to be diving the backline, Glacial Prison, the Nautilus Ultimate. There's so much crowd control coming through in general, but we saw EDG run a dive comp against the Juggernaut from Snake and it not work out in a similar situation. I just want to see the mid lane snowball. If Hatong gets that going, I do believe that Vici can break the Juggernaut.
Yeah, we'll have to see, as we do have a pause to start this game, hence why we haven't quite gotten onto the Rift just yet. I do like that Rookie has adapted slightly here. Not the double mobility this time, going for the cleanse, respecting the CC a little bit more, even in his own lane with the gold card as well.
I mean, in these team fights, gold card into a Gnar ultimate, into the Glacial Prison, we've seen those CC bars, that white bar that comes under the health bar, never drop. People just die during CC duration. You can't get the sneaky Zhonya's in anymore with the changes on patch, I believe, 5.5, making those overlapping CCs consistent. You're going to have to be on point with your cleanse use in this situation, and Kid in particular doesn't have a Morgana for CC and vulnerability. If he's able to get strong enough and can fight in the front line, it won't matter though.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Kog'Maw, especially in any sort of Lulu-based comp, which is where we get the Juggernaut idea from. If Kid can get big, if Lulu can help support him out, Kid will run wild in this game, especially with his tank-busting abilities and the range that he has as well. It's nice that he does have a reasonably strong matchup to pick himself into, even though it is a fairly defensive support in the Janna and not the Nami that we've seen a little bit more of. But Kid, again, he went off on Kalista in the last game. We'll see if he can do it again on Kog'Maw.
And Cacau's already shown a propensity to pick up support items from the jungle. Remember, Base of the Mountain was his purchase in Game 1. In this situation, you're not on Nunu, you're on the Gragas, but he has a similarly low item threshold, just looking for CDR and health. Maybe the Mikhails will come back. The Beast special has been the Mikhails from the jungle. Double Mikhails between Kitties and Cacao will negate the lack of a Morgana. It'll be two different cleanses through to Kid. He'll probably pick up a QSS himself. If you can ignore that CC in the front line, you can really start to pump out the damage. Because the damage from Vici, you know, it's there, but Gnar not known for his damage. Dandy will take till the late game when he really gets the health stacking to do any sort of consistent damage. The really only consistent damage for that is Vasily on Sivir, and at 500 range, team fights are always difficult for a Sivir to navigate.
I mean, it is, but let's take a step back here. We've looked at IG's comp and just how strong it can be if they do get it going. It's Cacao. That's had a pretty big yawn there. Clearly, again, steadying himself for a possible 5-game series. But if you look over at Vici, what's been the hallmark of their play when they've been winning in that big streak they had towards the end of the weeks? It's effectively not fighting enemy. It's out-rotating them. And they have a great number of both pick tools and rotational tools in this comp.
So while IG, you feel, will hit that critical mass where team fights will be difficult for Vici to maneuver, as you mentioned, one of the best ways to deal with a strong team fighting team is to never team fight. If Hatong gets strong enough and can maybe rush the Lich Bane unanswered, can start the split push and open up global rotations, you've got Vasily on another high wave clear champion. It's worth noting that, of course, Lucian was available, Graves was available, and he defaults to Sivir. I thought Lucian would be the more obvious choice, as you can still push lanes and you still can play very aggressive but still have a bit of a safer late game team fight phase. Of course, Vasily, his positioning maybe not his strongest tool as a carry, is known to play aggressive, was always rocket jumping in on Tristana, usually relies on those repositions like the Relentless Pursuit for defensive options. He's going much more all in terms of the Sivir in this game. Maybe that suits the comp, maybe that will allow Carry to get in the back line. Carry on this Gnar, once again, very close to undefeated on this champion. Definitely his biggest pick. Yeah,
I mean, Vasily, we tend to see Sivir in any sort of rotational-based comp, and that is what Vici have here. It's interesting to see Sejuani in this style of comp, but I do like it. Nautilus sort of for the same reason. You pick an overload of CC, you can pick people off in transition, or maybe more importantly, when you start to siege up turrets in rotation and you get aggressed on, you can disengage effectively.
Well, I mean, the first choice was dive. That's what they said. When they saw the Kog'Maw being locked in with the Janna, they went for dive. I mean, your purchase may vary on whether that will work, but they'd locked in Sejuani first pick, and that's what they resulted in. But still, the Twisted Fate, that's the big question mark. Can they out-rotate the Juggernaut? Because late game, you always have to hand it over to the Juggernaut.
Yeah, you do indeed. No one usually stops it once it gets going, and I don't know if Vici have the answers. As you said, Hatong, he's the big piece here. If he can get in that lane and start ganking the Kog'Maw, Kid may never reach the power that he wants to in this game.
And that will be a big win condition there for Vici, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do. We're about to get straight onto the Rift. And welcome back here for our third game between Vici Gaming and Invictus Gaming. All square after the first two games with a 1-1 split. And we have at least 2 more games left to play. And we'll see, we might go the full distance once again here. That'll be twice today between promo and playoffs. But the team that wins this game, big momentum going. Because from that point onwards, you only need one more win to push yourself to the EDG matchup in the semifinal.
And at least you can say in terms of champion slate this time, Pastry Time, both these teams have a very clear identity. All about pulling into late game team fights at IG. And with that Twisted Fate, with the Sivir, looking for rotational based play on Vici's side. If Vici get ahead, they've shown that they don't often get answered. I believe they've never lost a game where they got the outer ring of turrets with the likes of Twisted Fate and Sivir. But again, it's going to be all about IG pulling it out to late and Vici just trying to be assertive in the early game. Lovely to see teams with clear win conditions, and whichever one acts on them better, they should win this game.
Yeah, given the first two games, which had some potential questionable picks there in the drafts, both teams with strong identities that fit their style that we've seen as well. So should be a very strong game. And as far as early adaptations go, we see a lot of early movement, a good line of wards there for Vici to try and potentially spot off a lane swap. But my favorite thing of all is Hatong and those boots one.
Yeah, the boots, just to navigate the poison coming through from Cassiopeia. There's many different schools of thoughts on how to deal with these high-impact lanes. You might think, okay, I'll opt into the Flask 3 potions that have, over 600 health worth of sustain coming through. But against Cassiopeia, you just need to dodge that poison. If the Q poison never registers, then the multiple Twin Fangs won't come through. But you can see in this laning phase, the first one hits. Hatong's going to have fast feet to deal with this Cassiopeia.
Yeah, Cacao takes away the blue buff. Satai is jungling with him. We've started a freeze fairly strong for IG here in the top side of the map. So Kid going to get what he wants away from the Sivir lane just to make sure Kog'Maw is nice and safe. And Kitties on the Janna going to start to roam.
I mean, this is what Kitties did the previous series, getting the trades in.
He stole the wolf.
He got the big wolf. Look at his experience bar. He's actually almost level 2. It's not quite the Gromp steal that we saw Mako do with Support Vega. Rest in peace, Support Vega on patch 5.6. But hey, it's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mako probably has the monopoly on hilarious things that supports it. Actually, you got a red buff steal on Annie in the last week of the LPL as well. But stealing a wolf there with a Janna auto attack, Kitties can chalk that one up as a very big achievement.
And it's crazy how big an impact that actually has, because what's this jungle follow? Carry's still level 1 for this second buff coming through. Wasn't able to pick up level 2. Janna continues to roam, of course, making her way down bottom to help with the Lulu.
Oh, Marta now going to do his best. Kitty's impression going to try and steal this away, but Cacao's there with the smite, gets his way over the wall with the body slam, and Marta gives him a chuckle instead.
So after that awkward steal coming through, Cacao kept his notes, listened to his support, kept on to his smite, and wasn't punished.
Good stuff there. We can see the Scuttlecrow being taken out. Dandy will be able to take that away, but level 2 is this Sejuani already, I guess, matching Gragas there as well. But again, Kitty's even the spare 53 gold as he joins Zatai for a very different looking duo lane now, kind of pairing with his top laner. Getting pushed in so far as the Lulu with Vasily and Mida playing aggressively forward, but should be able to clear out just fine.
So the freeze breaks here for Vici Gaming. Kog'Maw hasn't broken the freeze quite on top. No, he has as well. So, of course, Na is actually rotating at the right point. I thought they might need to send Sejuani to try and push in that lane, but the freeze breaks identically on both sides of the map.
Yeah, good movement there from Na. Carry going to reach the lane just in time to start picking up CS. You can see Lulu doing the same thing. Actually equalize right now for these laners. So Zatai. Again, Lulu can struggle in these situations. Doesn't always last hit that well under turret.
I mean, the first Destiny could be really big coming out from this Twisted Fate because there's a lot of CC in the lanes. Nautilus, 4 CCs once he has ultimate, the depth charge available in the top lane. If you manage that Na bar towards level 6, or just the consistent slows coming out, you have quite a lot of CC in Na's kit. And Sejuani, I mean, less said the better. Level 6 Glacial Prison. The Destiny ganks, we mentioned the fact that they will open up the early game rotations. They need to be on point, but they definitely pick lanes that combine well with Twisted Fate.
And Hetong already gone back now. Got a Doran's ring to join in with his boots, plus a bunch of consumables. Rookie going to go back as well. Probably a tier coming through, and we'll see if he does want to go for the same build as last time.
I don't know if he'll be opting into the Haunting Guys, just because the power spikes of his team this time are much later than the power spikes were in Game 1, I believe, when we last saw the Cassiopeia. Much more likely to see some later game purchases, maybe just the Rylai's for a bit of dueling effort in the mid game. If Hetong ever wants to rotate into a long lane and you have Rylai's, you have so much chase power, especially with the summon spell Cleanse. Or you can just stay on top of that Twisted Fate when he looks to rotate around the map. Probably not going to be the catalyst, just because you don't want to opt too much into late game and ensure the game doesn't end before all your teammates hit their power spikes.
No, but going to opt into the tier for now. Hetong actually without his ultimate roaming down, but just going to put a few friendly wards in towards IG's jungle entrances. Dandy jungling out as well now. Level 4 going to go back and spend a bit more gold as he moves in towards Cinderhulk after his Trailblazers being completed. But Rookie definitely has control of the lane right now. Good CS lead actually coming through.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, Twisted Fate's going to have to play defense in this lane, respect the poison. We saw the first poison registered despite the fact that Rookie the boots were picked up by Hetong. Rookie smartly actually spots out the pink ward that usually gets so much value. We see those pink wards stay up for 10 minutes or more, but in this game, picked up.
Yeah, done his homework there, has Rookie, so able to clear that up very efficiently. Back in the bottom, Vasily clearing away, but 80 KCS is fairly even. You think that has to favor Kog'Maw again. It's we do often see Kog'Maw in a lane swap, but it's almost always with a Janna versus Nanami where they do prefer to lane.
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of the 2v2, the Nautilus, has actually stayed in lane a lot more, but because Janna picked up that wolf, hasn't been punished for roaming around the map. Of course, visited top, visited mid, went bottom, helped with the jungle follow, but it's still same level to Nautilus, who's been anchored, bad pun intended, to the bottom lane.
Yeah, stolen a wolf there as well, did Kitty. So done a lot of early work here and just soaking some experience. Dandy actually hiding here, looking for a 2v2. Kitties might face check him there and does. Now discovers him, but Dandy going to move in. Knockup does come through, but Kid going to get onto carry, and I think Nah has to respect the damage. Kitty's still not using the flash, but Hetong's going to join in now as well. Kid does have his heal. He's going to use it at the last second. Kitties doesn't even need to use his flash, just the exhaust, and they'll keep chasing. No follow pressure coming, unfortunately, as Kakao has come to the bottom lane, but IG's dual lane dodges that Destiny wonderfully.
And importantly, a big misfire on the first use of the Destiny page down. We talked about the fact that rotational play is largely opened up by successful uses of that global in the early game to snowball your way towards 20% CDR. And again, CDR means more and more Destinies, means more and more global presence. In this case, gets him nothing.
IG had a look at the dragon there as well, but I think smartly decided it was a little too risky, given that Vici had already pulled away from the gank. But Kid continuing to farm out now, hasn't quite gone for that first shot yet, as we see Vasily already returning to his lane with a BF sword, but pushing the lane in, starting to deny carry a bit of CS, although he's keeping up nicely with the Lulu, And Fiendish Codex up for Zatai as well. Carry still with his longsword, has to make his first big purchase.
Things have gone better than expected for IG. Their first Destiny didn't work out. And despite the fact that they were the ones to initiate the lane swap, they don't even have to deal with a dragon coming through. No dragon advantage from sending their duo lane top from the jungle follow that followed. I mean, Kitty's just delaying the power spikes for Na and Sejuani in the jungle has really helped them out. They lose their turret in bottom, but of all trades, they'll take that one.
They will for now. Here, Kid does return to that lane with a fade as they've swapped back down, probably just for some dragon control here as well. Rookie returning to his lane with some very early sorcerer shoes. I like it. Knows that Hetong went for some early boots. Needs to be able to chase him down.
He's gone for the flat magic resist blues as well, so just a bit more magic penetration. Helps with his wave pushing because, of course, the magic pen works on those lane minions. And again, gives him more trade damage to Twisted Fate, and Twisted Fate can't just use a gold card to disengage because, of course, the cleanse has been elected to from Rookie. It's all about kill pressure onto Twisted Fate. They've punished him for his first roam by picking up CS. He's 26 CS up, which is actually quite a massive lead for this early into the game, and now he's getting kill pressure, and that's the ultimate punishment, death onto the Twisted Fate.
Hatong seems to be looking for a Merc Treads, I think, as well, so very defensively minded there in the mid lane. Null Magic Mantle's just been picked up on his last shopping trip, but not really picking up any big-ticket items or even decent mid-game items here for Hatong. So struggling on the TF so far with the Cassiopeia, I guess semi-counter pick coming through for Rookie, but the Dragon's still available. Carry's getting farming. For the most part, everybody's pretty happy. Once again, almost 10 minutes in and still no first blood.
It's still no first blood. Both junglers been just onlookers for the start of this game. Actually a 5 CS advantage available for the Sejuani. But, I mean, you have to say that Cinderhulk is basically an item that keeps scaling into the late game because, of course, you get more and more gold value from each of your purchases. Sejuani getting closer to the late game with all her innate health scaling. It suits Vici if Sejuani isn't punished.
And it's one thing for Kakao. It's always interesting to me when he doesn't choose to get super aggressive early on any champion. He's found success on pretty much everyone but Nunu as far as early pressure goes, and the Gragas you saw in the last game was much higher pressure than this. I know that RG are looking to scale into the late game, but I think for me, when Kakao's farming like this, look for his mid-game presence. That first Dragon team fight, if there is a big fight for it, if Kakao doesn't make a high-impact play from all the farming, he kind of probably just wished that he spent more of his early game just applying more pressure.
And you think to some degree he'd harken back to the last time these two teams met during the latter stages of the LPL, I believe it was week 9 or so. He picked up the Nidalee and literally solo carried that game with a late game T5, picking up a crucial triple kill onto the backline and getting IG back into a game. They looked like they had no chance to. Of course, Gragas isn't a Nidalee from the jungle. I'm waiting for the hyper carries, or so at least the jungle hyper carries, to be picked up, but it's been very defensive junglers. The disengage Gragas and the engaged Sejuani have been the popular picks this series. And then, of course, Nunu, the other one, enough said, not much about the early jungle pressure.
I mean, to be fair, it makes some sense as Vasily does get slowed, I think, by the Zephyr. Might have spell shielded off, but Kid, with the Phage, looking to chase, doesn't even have the Sheen here and still feeling confident to win trades against the Sivir.
I mean, Sivir has Twisted Fate for backup, but still is respecting the pressure coming through. Of course, didn't have the Nautilus, didn't really know the positioning of the Sejuani, but you look at the mini-map, 2 pink wards around this dragon committed to. That's 200 gold Vici have spent to get dragon control, but still haven't felt the confidence to actually pick up a dragon.
Yeah, 11.5 minutes in. It's been a late look at that first dragon here. Teams kind of just getting some vision and backing away. No one really committing to try and take it yet. Vici have a slight gold lead here of 800 gold. That's mainly from the tower that they've got him in the bottom side of the map, but all the other towers are fairly healthy here. And again, Hatong, he's got his destiny back, but he's not been able to find any time to roam with it.
And that CS advantage that Rookie's been able to pick up doesn't count for much if this game goes long enough. And the innate lane matchups, Cassiopeia always going to be able to boss around Twisted Fate. Lulu always going to have the early advantage over Nah. The scaling in those lanes is definitely to the advantage of Vici. So if they're not being punished, it buys time for them to get stronger. But you can say the same about Kid to some degree. The one item power spike from Kog'Maw has really brought him back to the meta with just the Trinity Force. That's usually the go button when it comes to team fighting. He's going to have at least the Sheen when he goes for this back, perilously close to that Trinity Force.
Yeah, and just comfortably getting there as well. That's the big issue. Again, a fairly long early game here, pretty long landing phases. One attempt at a gank here by Hatong, but a misfire on the first Destiny. And that's just comfort room for Kog'Maw. He's farming up. If that Trinity Force comes in 16 minutes, 17 minutes or so, and Kog'Maw's being unhindered, especially if there are no extra towers or dragons to speak of, IG are going to have a field day with their mid-game.
We already mentioned that Vici are the ones looking to take this game in the mid-game through rotations, ensure that just like IG was afforded last game, they can lose a few team fights in the late game, but if you're 8-0 turrets up, you win one fight, you win the game, and that's what rotations can do for you. There's been some decent rotations. They have the turret advantage, but no dragons to show for their early game comp.
Yeah, and blue buff here for Cassio, and the dragons are an important highlight there as well. Vasily already took the bottom lane turret, probably wants to move into another lane and try and pressure it down. Hatong's done a good job here in the mid-game, actually pushing Cassio back and then getting on top of the turret. But this dragon still being up has anchored Vasily to the bottom lane where he can't go and take out other turrets.
But the crazy thing is, Pastry Time, they've had 2 pink wards there for over 5 minutes. They should have had run of this dragon, even with the fact that Cassiopeia had the pressure on the mid lane. You've got Destiny, you're always going to react first to whatever's happening around the dragon. So for them to not be confident enough to start the dragon with Sivir, with Sejuani, you can now mostly shrug off this dragon damage. It's just a hole in the game plan for Vici.
And Dandy started it, but IG is going to go in and fight them. Teleports up for both the top laners. Dandy has actually got exclusive vision, which we've talked about Vici having for a little while here. They will get the first dragon, but it's so late. In fact, Cacao might even try and steal for it. He's going to throw in the ulti. No, doesn't bother. Teleports do come in, though, for Carry, but Cacao going to knock him out of it. Knocks him back beautifully. Ulti just flashed there by carrying Cacao. Now gets Wild Growth away as well. The ulti comes through the hits on the kid and Zatai, but Cacao is forced to flash away. Dandy very low in the back. Cassiopeia going to get the first blood as a result. And IG going to reset with the Giant ulti, continuing to chase in. They've got so much potential to move in there, and they've got a lot of slows. They only get the one kill, but not too bad.
Yeah, really low mana bars coming through. Sivir, Twisted Fate, both completely out of mana. Meant they weren't able to fight, despite the fact that Twisted Fate can move around those fights so slipperily and get out those gold cards on the Twisted Fate. So IG, they do move towards the mid lane. They should be able to answer this first dragon for the outer mid lane turret, and you'd always take that trade because the outer mid lane turret gives you so much access to the enemy jungle and get those aggressive wards
That's
down.
Twice now that IG have opted into this trade as well. We'll see if it works out slightly better than it did in that last game here, but Kid now could be in trouble there. Marta's coming through as well. The Destiny's in. He's got to find a way to flash, but the gold card's going to come in after the dredge line. Exhaust down there as well. Slow just missing. Kid will flash. Her tongue will follow the gold card back in again, and he'll get the kill.
There's a trade of flash. Much more important for Kog'Maw to hold on to this flash than Twisted Fate. Doesn't quite have the distortion boots just yet, but it's a good pick coming through. But again, it's a kill for no objective. In the end result, it's 1-for-1 in kills for an outer mid lane turret for a dragon. You'd always give the advantage to the outer mid lane turret, as some people are having some fun in the crowd.
Yeah, apparently not enjoying the pace of the game so far, preoccupying themselves with some other things, but starting to pick up here. I understand it's been a slow-paced series so far, but don't let that fool you. The mid-game again, looking to be very explosive for these two teams.
And if anything, we thought Vici would be the team prioritizing early turrets, maybe seeding away a couple of dragons. Never ideal to do that against a Protect the Kog'Maw comp, but when you've got the Twisted Fate, when you play so confidently, when you're rotating aggressively around the enemy structures and have 3 outer turrets done at 10 minutes, which has again been a common thing for Vici, you look a lot better. In this situation, they finally got that second outer turret, but they're working on this mid.
Yeah, mid's probably dead here. I think Hetong's been doing great work. Good shield from Kitties to deny the pick a card burst there coming out from Twisted Fate. Athene's is done now on Hetong as well. Archangel's also completed for Rookie, so first items for everyone starting to come through, and Cacao again comfortably has an Aegis looking there as well. Does find the slow into Hetong. Will ult him back into the team, and Rookie's on top of him. Hetong nowhere good to go. Gets knocked up by a tornado, and who gets the kill but Rookie with the ulti?
He actually forced out the petrifying gaze. I believe Rookie dropped poison, wasn't able to get the refresh in his Twin Fang, so has to use a team fight cooldown. No big structures to fight over, so probably not going to be punished by Vici.
And the longer IG can hold on to this mid tower as well, I think the better things are going to look for them. Vici have managed to get the 2 side towers, but the ever-important mid tower that IG have already taken away from Vici is still here for them.
I mean, Cassiopeia's had the blue buff. She hasn't been pressured that much. She's been able to wave clear despite not having instant wave clear, just because, again, has so much mana at this point. They can just spam out those Twin Fangs quite happily. Getting that outer mid turret should open up some of the split pushing that we've expected to come from this series. But again, Twisted Fate's been basically anchored to a mid lane matchup. It's not going to win.
Yeah, the Tyler got ulti by Carry. Big combo coming through for the Mega Naren. Now going to pop back in the Mini Nar form. Hyper will proc as a result. Damage going to come through. And now Tower being aggressed on by IG, but get ulti there.
There we go.
Now the Hetong going to come through as well. Tornado moving in. Master's going to ult onto Kid. Cacao is so tanky though, and Kid turning around with the damage. Cacao gets the first kill. Reset coming through from the Monsoon as Rookie zoning everybody out. Doesn't have his ulti, but doing so much damage. Gets the kill onto Marta, and 2 kills there for IG.
It was just crazy use of the Destiny by Hetong. Basically went for a melee range Destiny about 2 flash units away. Died to focused fire. Good rotation coming through from Rookie. And it's the second outer turret, matching the turret score from Vici with a Protect the Kog'Maw comp. Everything going well for IG.
And Carry not able to be there either because he spent all his resources trying to kill Zatai, who just wild growth off the damage and then kept wave clearing away from his turret. Vici have not looked like they have in the later stages of the LPL this series, I have to say. Even Zatai going to find a pink ward and clear it away.
And so many wards in the items. Remember, we haven't seen the Sightstone coming out early from Dandy, but multiple wards from members, 2 pinks, multiple wards coming through from Hetong. That just means that the gold lead 2,000 is actually implied 3,000 or more gold lead coming through from IG because of all the commitment towards warding. And the item timings are actually starting to look better for IG than Vici, even though they're the team with Twisted Fate. They're the team that's supposed to be out-rotating. So far, the Destiny hasn't contributed anything. In fact, it's actually hurt Hetong.
It has, and the big one here for IG as far as timings go has to be the Trinity Force now done for Kid. Rookie going for the Haunting guys again, but does have a Giant Belt this time, so maybe going to move the Rylai's into the build a little bit quicker. Rookie probably going to end up with the same sort of makeup. Seraph's Embrace eventually when the Archangels transform. Shorksu's Haunting guys and a Rylai's, but he might change the order ever so slightly this time.
I think Rylai's earlier is the big adaptation, just because if you pick up the Rylai's, there's no way Twisted Fate can split push with you just because you'll just die towards all the refreshing of the 35% single target slow from the Twin Fang. Of course, you have a global, so perhaps you can out-rotate the Cassiopeia, but it definitely doesn't set up multiple situations where Twisted Fate can split push.
No, and Rookie, the longer he stays alive in the fights, the better. If he can stick on targets, especially these big melee divers, Nar and Sejuani, that are trying to get onto the backline of himself and Kid, the better. And Rylai's a fantastic Cassiopeia item. I think Rookie slightly missed it by not getting it. I did like the Luden's Echo, but we'll probably see it later.
It's just so much more important in this game because we outlined it during Champion Select. Vici has some very situational ways they can teamfight against IG, but on the balance, you take IG's teamfight comp every day of the week. They need to out-rotate IG. They weren't able to do that in the first 20 minutes of this game as we just ping over to 20 minutes. And with items like Rylai's being completed, with less and less split push options for Hetong, those options for out-rotating get so much more difficult.
I mean, Hetong is in the bottom side of the map. He loves to do this on TF, and just his mages in general stick in the bottom lane. Once the lane starts to break out, get some sideway farm and push in, but Vici still don't have that mid turret here. Like you said before, it's even on turrets. Dragon is actually back up here, so IG might just start it because no one here from Vici is really in the area.
But the crazy thing is, Beishamp, he has no defensive wards around the enemy blue buff. He was actually just pushing in away straight to Kog'Maw, who was lapping it up. There's no advantage being gained there. Giving free farm to the Kog'Maw is not what you want to be doing as Twisted Fate, but realistically, he can't push past the river without immense threat of death.
Oh, and you can see Hetong's positioning on the minimap, recalling quite far towards his own side of the map here. Vici did get a turret there. Vasily actually just kind of walked into the mid lane and soloed the rest of its health out, but IG managed to trade a dragon for it. So the game starting to open up a little bit more now. The farming sort of coming to an end here in this game. Again, it's been a slow one. 21 minutes in and only 5 kills, but quite a few more towers, and the map opens up. More people going to start sticking together, or maybe in Vici's case, split up and start pushing.
Yeah, I mean, 1-3-1 is all that Vici can really hope to do. But again, if it's not successful, later and later, more and more items to Kog'Maw. Suddenly, you need to itemize armor to complement the magic resist that works so well against Kog'Maw for those first 25 minutes of the game. But by the moment that Play the Ruined King comes through, suddenly you need to be looking at higher armor values to just deal with him in a fight.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Vici, it's neutral-looking warding across their map here. All the pinks very defensively positioned, especially towards the bottom right-hand side of the map. IG are the ones now maybe looking to get some aggressive wards in it. Again, if the wards are neutral for IG, they're happy because that means they're happily farming on their side of the map.
And if they're able to get this vision control around Baron, remember, this is Cassiopeia, so even before the Blade of the Ruined King, but especially after that is picked up by Kid, they have immense single-target Baron damage. Hell, Drunken Rage now does 300 damage. The cap increased towards monsters, so the amount of Baron damage from just those 3 members, and of course Lulu and Janna to throw on shields and provide innate tankiness, means that IG always have to respect the Baron threat, but they do have the Destiny coming through to reveal positioning. And right now, Hetong just keeps trying to split push.
Smart rotations here from IG, actually. Moved in towards the top side, tried to push down the tower. Vici immediately pinged mid and ran there, but Rookie rotated back around again. IG playing safe to tie in the bottom lane now, pushing out Hetong, using the Lulu wave clear to get the minions out from under their tier 2. And again, there are no major objectives up. They've got Baron warded. All IG have to do is sit back and farm.
And that's the thing. Trading farm with a Kog'Maw Cassiopeia, protect the Kog'Maw, or even enable the Cassiopeia depending on how this game goes. That just suits IG. Whenever you're pushing farm towards a Kog'Maw, you're just looking at that timer, you're looking at the items, and realize that this game's only going to get worse for Vici.
And Rookie, he keeps tricking me. Now has the Leandries finished off as well, so going for the same start he had in Game 1, but that Giant spot I can only imagine will one day be a Rylai's. It's just a matter of when he wants it.
I mean, we say this, but there's no guarantee. Maybe it's the casual Warmogs on Cassiopeia. In metas past, it was about the tier the Athenes into the Warmogs, just because, again, the consistent damage is there. Reginald loved that build many, many years ago. I'm dating myself with that particular comment, but probably going to be the Rylers. Again, if you anchor Cassiopeia to bottom, Kog'Maw to top lane, and just lap up the farm, ensure there's nowhere for Hatong to split push, you're happy if you're IG.
I mean, if Rookie's fending off divers as well, I do like the Leandry's build for Cassiopeia here. Will obviously be augmented by the Rylers, so that's mostly why I'm expecting it here. But if Dandy and Carry find themselves in a position where they dive on top of the squishy mate and just melt to Cassiopeia damage, Vici, again, have no hope of winning the team fight. So again, they got to split them up. But Vici's rotations haven't really been rotations. They're just kind of sticking in the lanes and hoping that the turrets fall down by themselves.
But sticking in the lanes and providing farm tells me they're looking to opt into late game team fights, and then I completely agree with you. Leandry's on Cassiopeia will do so much work against the triple dive that's going to come through between Nas, Sejuani, and the Nautilus, you have to say. Nautilus doesn't afford to buy that Magic Disc. He's just building health at this point. They will melt to all the damage ticking from Cassiopeia.
Yeah, Cacao now going to clear out some more vision as well. Actually, a good time to check in on some trinkets here. Upgraded vision totem there for Zatai, so a couple of extra wards. Lots of sweepers actually for Vici, so trying to get some more aggressive vision down. And as we've noted, they have mostly neutral vision at this point. Upgraded sweepers up for both the supports as well, so junglers haven't quite swapped over yet. But again, Cacao, every time I look down, he seems ahead of Dandy somehow, because their items are identical apart from the sightstone that Cacao happens to have.
And that's despite, you can see Danny doing some power farming. He's given up on any sort of hope of lane pressure and power farm to 106 CS. Again, it's another reason why Rookie's build is actually looking good, is because when you're going Leandry's and the Rylers, you're just looking to kill frontline tanks. So that's his job. And guess what? Kid's going to kill everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost got a Blade of the Ruined King here on the Kog'Maw, 217 CS. Actually pretty far behind Vasily as far as CS goes. And Vasily moving into his third item now as well. Going to be a last whisper, it looks like, after the Infinity Edge and Static Shift that he's already built. Hatong now with the Zonies might be able to make more plays, but Vici have to do something soon. Dragon back up in a minute as well. That might be our next pressure point, but even the second Dragon's not quite enough for Vici to really pressure IG.
And honestly, how is Sivir going to do damage in fights? You're going to wait for these fights. You're not going to walk past the Petrifying Gaze. You're not probably going to be able to DPS down Kid unless he has so many defensive utility shields and health increases like the Wild Growth that he wants you to be hitting him. So he has so much more range than you do as Sivir that you feel like there's going to be one of those situations where Sivir, her 500 range will betray her late game fighting. Although she does a lot of damage unhindered, there's plenty of hindrance, disengage, CC coming through from IG.
And speaking of CC, Rookie, I'm happy to report, has gotten one step closer to the Rylers. Got the blasting one now as well. I think about 1,000 gold away from the purchase at this point.
Don't try and cramp his style. He could turn that into a death cap. He's a strong man. He can build whatever he wants.
He built Little Zeko in the game one, so I'm definitely confident Rookie can do absolutely whatever he wants here, but almost level 16 now as well. Hard to believe this game has gone so long with this few kills, but everyone is strong here. And again, Vici looking around this next dragon, I think maybe thinking to themselves, I don't think we can fight anymore.
Well, Vici, they have to force fights, but the issue is you can't force fights against a Cassiopeia Kog'Maw comp that has all this disengage from the rest of their members. They're realizing there's no way for them to force objectives, so the only way they can force the enemy team to aggress onto them is to actually have a lead, like a 4th dragon towards a 5th dragon or Baron, but they're even in those sort of trades. So they're going to try and force a fight, but they need the enemy team to fight on their terms, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, ports are coming. Carry charging in. IG on top of the dragon. I actually don't think they care if they get at this. Maybe want to start a fight. Dandy missed his ulti. Zatai gets hooked over. Kid going to come in. That Rookie, a massive ulti there to stop the dive in. Marta going to get low, but a good ulti there from Carry comes in, but still cutting back. Cacao chasing Vasily there as well. Almost gets the kill by himself. Rookie finally claims that Kid, though, will go down, and it's a 2-for-1 win there for IG.
There's a very big Nara ultimate coming through, but that's the re-engage.
Rookie gets hooked now as well, but he's still going in. Fairly tanky on the Cassio, but Carry able to pick him off. Cacao trying to get the kill, but Marta flashes forward to protect him. And Vici, we weren't sure they could win a fight, but they pull it out just.
Yeah, they were able to win the fight, but I think a big indicator there is that Rookie doesn't have the Merc Tread, so is dying during this CC duration. It's still Sejuani into Naruto. It's still Nautilus with 4 different CCs. You have to respect the support Nautilus and all the CC he provides, but Rookie, Sorcerer's Shoes, not going to do that much work in a fight.
And I think an even trade there, 2-for-2, perhaps 3-for-2 in favor of Vici at the end of it all, but they don't even get the dragon that they were originally fighting over. The gold still basically dead even between these two teams. IG actually up 400 gold hold still despite being down a turret. If the game continues at this pace, Vici will eventually run out of options. If they have to press momentum and press now.
It was actually a very good Glacial Prison coming through from Dandy. It forced the flash away from Kid. Doesn't have the QSS available. Didn't have that item timing previously. Now has the null magic mana towards a QSS. Will be so much more offensive in his positioning once that QSS is completed. But now the Mikhail's also completed from Kiddies. Suddenly Kid's life got a hell of a lot better.
Now we're going to start this fight again for Hetong's actually the one split pushing now, but IG doing so much dragon damage. Take it out. Hetong though, how much damage can he get done? He doesn't quite have the Lich Bane yet, but he's doing considerable damage to this turret.
It doesn't regenerate any health as well. There's multiple members. They should get this turret, but they're scared of an engage.
They're looking for a Cacao. Throws his ulti in, but kind of boosts Dandy a little bit further away, so can't quite throw anyone in, and this is IG's problem. They don't really have hard engage.
And that's the funny thing, is that both teams are looking for the enemy to hard engage upon them. Vici have more engage options, but they've already tried going for the big flank engages with Twisted Fate and paid for them, but the engages hit.
Vasily ulted in, massive ult there from Dandy, hits on the 4, the death charge will follow in as well, and they're trying to kite away. Kid gets gnarled ultimate, Mikhail helps him out. Rookie though, not so lucky as he goes down to Vasily, but Kid still kiting away. Cacao buying time, Hetong dives in, way too aggressive, but Will's on is at the last second. Kid going to go down, Hetong will fall to the tie, who is still kiting on the Lulu, but the rest of Vici gonna chase him down. Carry actually forced to run away, and Zatai 2-for-1 trade in favor of Vici.
IG just weren't fighting with their tank line in front of them. Crucially, Gragas was zoned away from that engage. They were finally able to pick off Kid, and that opened up a team fight win for Vici.
But Cacao didn't have his ultimate and was zoned away, and IG still kind of lost the minimum there.
They lost the minimum, sure, but I mean, IG should be winning these fights at this point. It should get better for them, so maybe they're not going to be in panic stations, but they have to watch these engages, because even with a Protect the Cogmore comp, if you stagger your engages, stagger your CC, the Glacial Prison was wonderful. Look at this Glacial Prison, triple Glacial Prison into the knockup coming through. Mikhail's hasn't been used at this point, I don't believe. I think it was used for sustain at some point, but yes, when the Gnar ultimate registered. Cacao's completely off your screen, doing nothing in the backline whatsoever. Isn't able to stop Vasily doing damage. Vasily just skips ahead, of course. There's no tank line at all. 4 members getting on top of Kid should never happen in a comp with Lulu and Janna, but Vici did it that time.
Yeah, maybe a bit early on the ultimate for Zatai, but managed to do a lot of work and kite them around. Dandy actually going to get caught out. We'll get Gragas ulted back. Tornado plus the slows coming through there, and Dandy has to get a block. The good knockup comes in, but Carry comes in to save him. Cacao going to join in there as well. Still chasing RIG. They really want to kill Dandy, but he's fairly tanky on the Sejuani. The tower's still in their way. Zatai going to whimsy his way forward. Good ulti from Dandy will keep him safe, and now Hetong coming in as well, diving in onto Rookie, who instantly cleanses the gold card. Can turn it around. The ulti will threaten, and Vici Gaming will back away.
Might have been a chance for a petrifying gaze, but Vici got the hell out after the cleanse was used, so probably smart position from them. They have a lot of Baron damage, and Sejuani's in base.
Yep, smart stuff, knowing that Dandy's recalled and can't get back safely. Just get on top of the Baron and take it away. It dies so fast, and Rookie gets it. Cacao didn't even smite.
Yeah, the miss smite actually comes through. That's a big problem, but there's the engage.
Yeah, Carry getting chased down. Cacao in the front line. Petrifying gaze will peel off Carry as he dives in. Marta going to be the next to fall as Kid managed to pick up the kill onto Nautilus. 2-0 now as Hetong getting chased away. The barrel just short there onto Hetong, but RG starting to gain momentum.
Yeah, much better team fight with Cacao in the front line, with the Wild Glow is still available in this situation. Rookie fighting next to Kid. Those are the fights IG are looking for. Took them 30 minutes, but they look good when they get them.
And now the towers are going to start to fall. IG evened up the turrets. Now going to be ahead by 1 as they take their 4th turret of the game. They don't even need Zatai, who can teleport in if needed, and this tower's also going to go down.
I mean, that's the thing. The Cogmore does so much safe damage to these structures, keeps proccing that Trinity Force. Cassiopeia is setting up an effective zone, even without the Petrifying Gaze. The base is broken, and so might be Vici's game plan, because they never got the rotations they were looking for. For once, Hetong's Twisted Fate, it's really contributed nothing.
And he didn't even get that punish. Yes, Rookie was pressuring him in the early stages of the lane, but I felt like Rookie started playing back in his lane, just scared of Dandy once level 6 here for Sejuani. Maybe Hetong just sort of put himself off kilter by failing that first Destiny a bit, but it's weird to see Vici pick this sort of comp and do so little with it in the first 20 minutes.
The thing to mention is that Usually those Twisted Fate split pushes that have been so successful in previous series have been facilitated by aggressive wards being put down by Dandy and Mata. This game, we've noted many times, their ward line has begun and ended defensively, maybe up to the river, but no further. So we never saw a situation where Twisted Fate could split push, and when he was split pushing around this area that you see him on the mini-map now, he was just pushing farm into Kog'Maw to gleefully just pick up without any pressure whatsoever. In terms of Destiny, we've seen 3 of them used for no real gain at all. And, I mean, 5 score involvements out of 5 is 100% kill participation. But with this rotational game plan, they should either have a turret lead or a hell of a load of kills, and they have neither.
Sick flash every Kakao. Hatong flashes out of the Grug Assault, though. Will get the stun. Can't proc the barrel, so no slow for Kakao. But now the teleport coming in for the tie. He really wants this kill, but a little too deep there for the Lulu.
They get both escape summoners from Twisted Fate. They'll take that trade. Another outer turret goes down. The thing about Vici is their comp does nothing in this situation.
Yeah, Kid actually face-tanking turret with a Lulu shield on him. Zatai maybe even just joining in for the Lich Bane damage as he's managed to finish that up as well. Carry looking in, but they can't really dive Rookie with the ultimate up ready for Cassiopeia.
I mean, IG going to make all the decisions. They have the explosive cast available soon. They have the petrifying gaze, so you can't dive into them. They've already taken the turret and the inhibitor, so no reason to overstay. And Vici, even with all this initiation CC, we're getting to the point with Mikhails, with QSS, with all the other options. IG have all the cards, and it feels like Vici, even with Twisted Fate, usually pretty good with the cards, not going to help out.
No, not so much, as Atong still in the top lane trying to push that out. Knows that he can't really contest the Super Minion waves just yet, despite all the AP that he has. Dragons respawning right now for IG, though, and they will be able to pick it up as they prep for all this damage. And Baron melted, Dragon's going to go even faster.
It's just been a really smart play by IG to answer all the obvious threats coming through from Vici. The Twisted Fate split push threat has been answered by strong wave clear from Lulu, so they never could opt into a situation where Twisted Fate was split pushing against Lulu. Cassiopeia's had incredible kill pressure onto Twisted Fate, so he's been avoiding that lane since very early. And look at this, Lulu just whimsying in, forces the ghost from Atong.
I mean, Zatai does respectable damage now on this Lulu. Morellonomicon, Deathcap, and now the Lich Bane means that the squishy Twisted Fate absolutely has to be scared of this top lane Lulu. And Lulu normally a champion that's just fine with the 2 items. Zatai, a real threat on this team now as well.
Yeah, with the Lich Bane, as you mentioned, some single target damage continues to build AP, which of course builds up his defensive utility. And Kid is super scary. No rush for any sort of armor, any sort of armor penetration. No need for a Last Whisper, because only the Randuin's completed for carry.
And Rookie is about to evolve into disgusting damage from Cassiopeia. I think he's maxed out his passive stacks, but he's got a Rabadon's on the way, and when I last checked, it's 558 AP.
Yeah, 558 AP, add an extra couple of percentages there from the Death Cap, but it's going to be a lot of AP coming through from the Cassio.
It really is here, and the Death Cap's not far away here for Rookie either, and to be honest, he hasn't really been needed. IG have just found some strong fights. Kid has been able to pick people off, and IG have played wonderfully around the map to get themselves to this spot. They steal away the blue buff from Rookie. Rotations even easier now due to the 3rd dragon they've gotten as well. And Kid, he's got his Phantom down, so he's ready to go with all of the Bio-Arcane Barrage damage.
I'm really loving the introduction of Cassiopeia to these Protect the Kog'Maw comps as Kakao gets a bit feisty in the back lane.
He just throws his ult onto Vasily. Apparently doesn't really mind. The cooldown's pretty short, and Hatong going to go in. Actually peeling away as Carrie's found a very good spot, but he's getting ulted down. He's so low. Finally knocks him into the wall, and massive CC coming through, but IG still cutting around, keeping Kid alive. He's been wild growth. He's doing so much damage, but it's not quite enough. Kakao will fight back there. It's a 2 for 2 so far, but Kakao will quickly fall. No, gets out of the way. 2 for 4 so far, and Kakao might make it 5. Vici Gaming are keeping themselves in this game. Kakao tagged by a boomerang, body slams again. Barrow will keep him safe, so only 4 for 2, but Vici fight back. Oh god, their base.
What an engage from Nah. Triple or quadra Nah into the wall, getting the CC on both of the high damage threats. I never thought that would happen, but Kakao's now just going to try and buy time as the super minions do all the work.
Yeah, they're both Nexus turrets are already dead, and Carry gets basically soloed out by Kakao's Gragas. Mata is desperately fighting off the super minions, but he can't really do that much on this Nautilus.
Yeah, the Riptide buffs, they help a little bit, Pastry Time, but the moment they start to aggro the base, there's Sejuani. They might be able to buy just enough breathing time, but you're against a team with a Kog'Maw who can do so much damage from structures from safe range. Don't know how much time it really buys for Vici.
I mean, they maybe just be able to sit everyone forward, Gragas ult them off the Nexus, and just have all the shields sit on Kid, and he can just solo it out. Base is now wide open for IG, so Vici, despite winning that last team fight, lost a little too much as a result.
Look, it was an excellent engage. Honestly, it was sloppy vision from IG. They had no vision to their sides, so they got flanked by the Sejuani, who was kind of waiting. He saw the Gragas ultimate being used. He said, I realize now I'm not being spotted out. So he just stood there for a long time, did Dandy. Finally got the Wonder engage. They didn't respect the Gnar bar from Carry. It filled up. Triple Gnar into the wall, into a 4-man Glacial Prison. They won the fight off the back of that situation. But yeah, the trade for the base, certainly not ideal for IG. So they lost the minimum for what was a poor team fight for them. But just coming back to Cassio one more time. A high damage mid laner, because remember, people have been trying to introduce a second threat to Juggermore. A high damage mid laner with such an excellent disengage CC. Petrified engage, so much better disengage. And then hell, it helps with neutral control. The Baron dies instantly.
Yeah, Baron dead there. Hetong uses his destiny and gets the bad news. Baron well and truly dead. I like to bring up Cassio as well, because that Rabadon has been completed. 709 AP, I believe, is where she got to. It's Cacao. He's going in 1v5 at this point, getting a little too low. Quite tanky there, pops out with the Drunken Rage. His team catches up. Dandy forced to use the ultimate. Cacao somehow still lives, but that was very aggressive.
Felt a bit like a rage ultimate. No one else was looking to engage with the Glacial Prison, so it buys a bit more time to continue with the wave management, the emergency wave management. You have to think with the base so much in ruin. Vici just going to keep pushing out their waves. Again, Cassio replaces the likes of Zed that we've seen in these Juggermore comps. A high damage laner, but again, with defensive utility. That's the thing I love, is that you add another defensive utility. So someone dies onto you. If you get through the Explosive Cast, the Petrifying Gaze, all of Janna's disengaged CC, and hell, some of Lulu's, you probably deserve to win a team fight.
I mean, I can't think of a better way to kill these tanks as well, other than a Cassiopeia with Rylai's Rabadons and a Leandri's, plus the Seraphs to keep her nice and healthy. IG gonna storm in, take this inhibitor. Kid will just walk back and forth between cooldowns and be able to take it away. And you saw Carry before when he dived in, just managed to get the big Gnar ultimate before dying. That will not happen again. Rookie should be able to kill all of the tanks now.
That's the thing, was that it wasn't a repeatable Gnar ultimate. That was just IG's overconfidence and Vici's problem.
Oh, Carry gets popped out there. He tried it again, but Kitty's with a very nice Janna ultimate. Disengages, and Cacao walks in aggressively. Ultimate popped over by Vasily. Cacao still chasing people down, soaking up quite a lot of damage. Maybe a little too much here as the depth charge is used on the Kid. Hetong maybe look to dive in. Cacao disengages with the ulti. Carry gonna get ripped to shreds there by Kid. Does go down to Rookie. Cacao almost dead, but gets wild growth at the last second, and Rookie running rapid in the backline. 4 members dead already for Vici. Hetong off to the side, hiding, and IG, they're going to take it to a game 4.
Picture perfect team fighting from IG. Rookie staying right next to his good friend Kid, held onto the Petrifying Gaze till the big multi-man engage came through, and IG won the fight.
We predicted that IG, if they got to the late game, could not be stopped in team fights by Vici, and at a 40-minute game, that's exactly what happened. Vici just let IG scale up, and I think Carry's face tells you a lot there. He's looking at his screen going, why did we do that?
And that's the thing about Vici, is they got the Twist of Fate. Usually it means they're going to play that rotational style. But when you've got Lulu, a Cassiopeia with the cleanse, there's just so few places that you can actually choose to split push. They never got the wards down to open up aggressive pushing. It wasn't Vasily mowing down waves on the enemy side of the jungle. It wasn't Twisted Fate with a Lichbane doing turret damage. And the result was just more and more farm. The late game came earlier, and IG ran away with it.
And Dandy's face as well, a little puzzled after all that. Again, that's uncharacteristic of Vici to lose a game like that. They had all the tools to play the game that they love to play in, and instead got dictated to by IG.
And they're dictating the jungle bans in particular, Page Time. What's been banned every series has been the early presence junglers that Dandy's been loving. The Rek'Sai and the Nidalee that he picked up on patch 5.4 and never gave away. Forcing him onto Sejuani, so much harder to get that early snowball. And if he can't snowball, if he's not the one putting down the vision, Vici have no answers.
And Vici now have to answer 2 match points away from IG as they go up in the series 2-1. But we'll have a quick break, and when we return, we'll see what happens in game number 4.